Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of WIA Captain Randall Ross and the rest of the crew, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you on board our MT-83 service to Miami with one stop in Bob. It will take us approximately 55 minutes to get to Grand. For those in emergency, exit the doors clearly marked in red as we point them out to you. There are also those that presently across all window exits over the wing and doors to the back. There is a life jacket underneath, and in the seat box, especially with find the safety leaflet, you should read this before takeoff. In the event of a loss of electrical power, there is a lighting system installed in the aisle, which will direct you to exit identified by red light.
My name is Imani Kindred. We're here at the 2019 Kindred Family Reunion, and I'm here with Mr.
Damon Kindred.
All right, so the question is, what would you tell other family members who are looking into having their own property?
I think the biggest thing I would say is home ownership, especially for our people as African Americans, is one of the biggest gaps we have with competing with the other cultures that are out there. It's something that not only can you have that will improve your overall quality of life, but it's also something you can leave as a legacy for the rest of the people that are our family.
I was asked to come in to do a presentation on home
We have a
ownership.
host of other cousins in here too.
Well, I ain't gonna introduce everybody. Because I tell you one thing, I'm gonna be wanting to eat in a little while. So it's actually gonna go really quick, but as you can tell by the way I'm dressed, it's vacation and this is family.
All right.
So it's kind of funny when I do presentations like this as part of my job, one of the first things I do is ask the room, do I have permission to talk to you like we family? So in this case, I don't even have to ask permission because that's already the ground rules. So I'm gonna go through the presentation kind of quick, but really and truly, if you're interested in home ownership, regardless, I know it says first home. If you're interested in home ownership, it doesn't matter if it's your first home, doesn't matter if you've owned 20 homes before. The concepts are really the same. So I really encourage you, if you have questions on your mind, ask me as I'm going through, or if you want to wait until after, if you're more comfortable, let me know. Just to kind of give you an idea of what my background is in this. I'm an 18-year mortgage professional, licensed in the states of Tennessee and Alabama, and I'm also a certified mortgage planner, which the easiest way I can describe it is it's the difference between being a nurse practitioner and a doctor. I'm a doctor at doing mortgages is basically what my qualifications are. But all I like to do, I like to help people buy houses. It's a quality of life thing for me to help people buy houses. So I know it's probably kind of hard to see because I can't even see it as good standing up here. But when you get ready to buy a home, it's kind of important to know what the emotions are that are involved in it, because buying a home is actually two parts. There's the emotion part of it that most people get into, of the reasons why they want to buy a home, but there's also a financial part of it that you have to consider in what is the actual end goal, right? Because one thing you don't want to do is buy a home that you can't enjoy living in. So first steps of understanding the emotional part of it, you see over there, is especially if you're somebody who's been renting for a long time, there's a certain peace of mind that comes from owning your own home. There's a certain concept of, if I want to paint the walls, I don't have to ask nobody. If I want to do something to the house, I don't have to ask anybody. There's a lot of home ownership that brings you a lot of peace of mind. And one that I like the most at the bottom, it helps improve your overall quality of life. And there's more to it that I'll get into, but these are some of the advantages of owning a home. There used to be some tax benefits. So you can tell my presentation is already outdated, right? Because under the current administration, there ain't a lot of stuff you can write off anymore. You can still write off mortgage interest, but you pretty much got to have about $1 million house to generate enough interest in a year to where it's still going to be more of a tax deduction than your standard deduction. So, hey, come on in. So it used to be bigger in terms of giving you a tax deduction, which is not as much the case anymore. Building wealth, though, this is the one that I think, frankly, our people missed the boat on more than anybody else in the country. I just did a class with a nonprofit organization that was showing the percentage that Asians and Hispanics are acquiring property versus African American people, and they're lapping us. They are buying property and acquiring ownership at double the rate that we are, and they do it in shorter amounts of time. So it's something that we really need to pay attention to, because, you know, I always say, if you paying somebody rent, you financing their retirement. That's basically what it boils down to. You paying somebody rent every month, all you're doing is helping them retire and live off you. Whereas if you own something in a standard market, there are times when the economy will change and property values will go down, but long term, there's virtually nothing you can invest your money in that's gonna be worth more money at the end of it than a home. And then, of course, I already talked about the freedom you get by being able to do, you know, you get to set your own rules, unless you buy in a place that got a homeowner association. So, buying a place with a homeowner association, they might not let you put a flag on your house, you might not be able to park your broke down cars in the yard.
That's right, and that's a good thing.
That's right, because if you live next to the people with all the broke down cars, you will be happy for that. So, you know, we talk about mortgages. For the most part, there's not as many weird products. You know, when I first got into it, pretty much if you had a social security number, I could get you in the house with about $1. Nowadays, you can't really do that stuff, but you do still have the choice to pick adjustable rates, which all adjustable rates mean is after a couple of years, your rate could go up depending on what the market is doing. We very, very rarely do adjustable rate mortgages anymore. I'd say, at least in the area that I'm in, maybe 4 or 5% of people were doing adjustable rate mortgage. There's not a lot of reason to do it because the interest rates are so low. Interest rates right now, we're still quoting people rates in the 3s. So there's not a lot of reason to do an adjustable rate when you're already getting rates that low. You know, we've been talking about rates going up for the last several years, but as yet they really haven't. And historically speaking, really anything below 6 is still a great rate. Like, you know, I'm a professional. I do this for a living, and I got a rate that is not in the 3s. So when I hear people complaining about, oh, interest rates 4.5%, I laugh in their face. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you know how good that is? Do you know what the rate was on the first house you purchased?
It was 8%.
8?
That's
Well,
7 for you.
I think the first one I bought, I think it was like 9% or something like that.
and then in the 70s, when I started doing mortgages, 2001, the average interest rate was close to 8%. So that kind of lets you know how much better in terms of purchasing property we are now where rates are. Yeah, before I always have to say this. We talk about rates, but really and truly, if you want to buy a house, interest rate is not even one of the first 3 things that should matter to you. The 3 most important things are, how much am I going to have to pay you back every month? How much out of pocket is it going to cost me to get it? And how many payments I got to make? Everything else is irrelevant. I can show you 2 loans side by side for the same house, same amount of money. The one with the higher interest rate got lower monthly payments. So interest rate by itself is not really all that important. This is just a slide to let you know there are resources out there that will give you, most of the time, free advice and counseling. You can look them up online, look for a HUD-approved counselor. So I work with multiple HUD-approved counselors that will take people who either aren't ready yet or don't think they're ready yet for home ownership, and they also will do things that are not just specifically designed to help you buy a house, but they help people with budgeting, all types of things to kind of get you in better financial position, because it's more about setting you up for financial success versus just getting you into a house. I know you probably can't see this one, but this is the home buying process the first block up there says get qualified. Most people, when they get ready to buy a house, they start the process with Zillow. They go online, they go to Zillow, and they look for properties. That's backwards, because what happens is you're looking at all these properties, you find ones you fall in love with, and you may or may not even be able to get it. So, in doing what I do, I spend probably 40% of my time having to tell people no. Or, well, I really don't tell people no, I tell them not yet or not this way. But first thing you want to do is find out what your financial position is. Because it's very painful if you, especially if you've worked towards home ownership for a long time, and then you're seeing something that you want, and you have no clue if you can get it or not, and then have to go to somebody, and if for any reason you can't get it, you know, I've seen people give up after they get there first. We can't do it right now. So you always want to find out your position first. Then you go house hunting to go find the house that you want to be in. And once you found your house, because you already know where your financial qualifications are, your next step is to put an offer on it and get it under contract. And that's when you really want to make sure you're working with a real estate professional as well to help you with your home purchase and negotiate the contract, because there's a lot of things in the wording of a contract that if you don't make sure you're on top of, you could either come out more money out of pocket, or you could be buying a home that's got some issues with it that you're not aware of if you don't do a home inspection. After you have your contract accepted, you work with your lender to go back and do your loan follow-up, which is basically cleaning up the paperwork process to get you into the home. And then the last step is closing, where we get to do this at the end. Get to jingle those keys, which is my favorite part.
How many of y'all had harder days of life, you know, as growing up, as kids and whatnot, you know, our parents teach us to follow the positive, but sometimes we get off, but it's okay. Harder ways, I took harder ways, and I had to learn from my experience, but who I am now is better than who I was back then, but we all grew up and we're mature. Took my heart away, I ain't never really wanted nothing, and I'm blessed to say, especially through all the things I've done, I took the heart away. I was out there doing time in the sun, sweating on my release day, but look who I am today, the old me, it had to fade away. I ain't never really wanted for nothing, and I'm blessed to say, especially through all the things I've done, I took the heart away. I was out there doing time in the sun, sweating on my release day, but look who I am today, the old me, it had to fade away. See, I was taught to make it possible. Like when you're dodging the monsters. Took a couple of L's, like weight on the scale, wondering how is it possible. See, I was taught as a youngin' to be running like Sunday the Hedgehog, collecting my rings while they bling, bling, bling. So I'm going hard today, and I need a lot to play. I can get a little silly, but when about business, I really don't like to play. I got a mission to complete, like riding on my plane. I was taught before I lay it on my knees and pray. I just wanna win, yeah. So I'm going in every day, hey. I'm feeling like I'm pinning hard away. Way back then, swish. I ain't never really wanted for nothing, and no plans to say. Especially through all the things I've done, I took the hard way. I was out there doing time in the sun, sweating on my police day, but look who I am today. The old man, it had to fade away. I ain't never really wanted for nothing, and no plans to say. Especially through all the things I've done, I took the hard way. I was out there doing time in the sun, sweating on my police day, but look who I am today. The old man, it had to fade away. Y'all like that? Yeah.